I'm Bradley Williams, Chief Customer Officer and Vice President of Operations for Equus Workforce Solutions. And I'm excited today that we've had our good friend Stephanie Deese stop by for a few minutes to just have a quick conversation. Stephanie is the Executive Director of the North Carolina Association of Workforce Development Boards. Stephanie, welcome and thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thank you, Bradley, for having me.
So Stephanie, like everyone else, I was so excited. We've had this conversation, but being here for a couple of days, it's been nice to get back in front of people face to face, see what we can learn from each other and how 2020 has treated them. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned over the past few days since you've been here from your colleagues around the country.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been really excited to be face to face. It's been over 15 months since I've had any real social interaction with other workforce professionals. So I was excited to come. I'm excited to be here. I'm full of energy and just being around everyone and seeing all the unique things that they've been doing, not only post-COVID, but things that lessons learned and best practices that they're sharing with us. It's been phenomenal. I'm just so happy to be here and part of this activity right now.
I feed off the energy of being around the people just
Great
like you do.
energy, and everyone is so willing to share their examples of their silver linings and their best practices, and the sessions have been great, and I've enjoyed it.
So Stephanie, tell all of those that are listening a little bit about your state. You've got huge regions that are super diverse, lots of different things going on, and just how 2020 has impacted each one of them differently.
Oh, goodness. Well, in North Carolina, as you mentioned, we do have very diverse regions, and it starts in the mountains of the North Carolina, which is primarily hospitality because it's a high tourist area. As we go further east from the mountains, we run into the Piedmont region, and their focus is primarily on logistics and aircraft and pilots and training. And then you move a little further east to the Research Triangle area, and the focus there is healthcare, IT, manufacturing, and then even further east to the eastern part of the state, which is, the Outer Banks and another vacation destination, but also boat building and manufacturing. Right. So, for instance, in Asheville, pre-COVID, unemployment rate was probably 3.3%, 3.2%. COVID hits, unemployment's 11 and something percent. Devastated that area and community because their whole industry was around hospitality and tourism. So, and we have pockets of that all across the state of North Carolina. I'm so proud of our workforce boards in North Carolina, though, because they have been able to pivot on a dime.
Right.
And they were able to think about what their customers need with all the individuals being unemployed. So some of the successes that have come out of that have been resource fairs.
Right.
We talk a lot about virtual career fairs, which everyone pivoted, all of our career centers pivoted for virtual career fairs, but the resource fairs started it. So we had resource fairs.
Tell us, what is a resource fair?
A resource fair is a drive-through in parking lots in the community where bags of resource materials are just handed to the customers, because when you think about COVID, it's more than just not having a job. I mean, it's supportive services are broader than just childcare and transportation.
Right.
You have to think about food. You have to think about other needs that individuals have. So some of our career centers also partnered with food banks. So when they would do these drive-through resource fairs, not only were they sharing information, they were also helping them with food and other essentials that they needed.
That's awesome. So I love the innovation and the new ways of executing to make sure that it is holistic, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That we
You
can
can't
meet all
just
their
treat
needs.
one part of it. These are families that we're talking about.
So since you support all of the board directors across the state, what have you seen with that network of people from the association standpoint on how 2020 has impacted them as leaders in their local areas?
That's a really good question, Bradley. I think what I would highlight in that conversation is, as a system, we have come together much stronger. during COVID. We meet weekly. Our board directors meet every Friday morning on a Zoom, a virtual call, and we share best practices. We discuss common issues. We all help each other. And we've been doing that since mid-March of last year, and we're continuing to do that. That's our new way of meeting is a virtual meeting. So we do that every Friday morning. Everyone has an opportunity to participate. We take turns with, each board will take a turn in sharing best practices or innovation, or just sharing something new that they've discovered and that they've learned to do to help all the other boards. So we're really helping each other. And it's that partnership and bringing us all together closer that's really going to make a difference as we come out of COVID.
So, I've talked with a lot of people here, and another hot topic of conversation is what people are doing to get ready for if their state still has the pandemic unemployment payments going on, and they will be ending. My understanding is North Carolina still has them.
Yes.
And can you talk to us a little bit about how are your regions preparing, just from an outreach and an engagement standpoint, to ensure that people are prepared for when that does end? Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Outreach is huge right now. All of our boards are engaged in some form of outreach, trying to reach down into the community to assist in whatever way they can. Virtual services has been a huge initiative. I'm really proud of our boards. We have about 83 career centers in North Carolina, and in mid-March last year, we went from a system that was used to face-to-face enrollments and required face-to-face enrollments to a system that everything now can be done virtually on a dime. And we flipped that state in less than 30 days to complete virtual services. All the staff in the Career Center have been given Chromebooks. I heard someone else earlier mention Chromebooks and access to Wi-Fi and mobile spots. All of our Career Center parking lots have been turned into mobile spots so people can come. They don't even have to come in the Career Center. They can just come to the parking lot if they need Wi-Fi access. So those are some of the innovations.
That's great. That's really helping that digital divide,
exactly.
And access to.
Those are some of the innovations that have occurred during COVID that are going to continue in the future. I also heard somebody earlier say something about a hybrid system. Yeah, this is the new norm. Virtual services that were introduced to a system that previously really didn't have virtual services, it's not going to go away. In fact, we're just going to use all those new tools moving forward and continue to reach out to the community. But outreach is significant, but we're going to reach out to the communities in greater ways. We're going to go into those community, into the pockets, make sure we're utilizing the libraries and the other resources that are available, and our partners. If anything in COVID, our partnerships with community colleges, with social services, with all the other partners in the community, public instruction, have increased, and there's a stronger need to have those commitments towards partnership to grow the system and continue to serve individuals, job seekers, and businesses.
I think that's excellent. I'm glad to hear all the great things that are happening in North Carolina. Stephanie, I asked this to someone yesterday, but if you were to look into your crystal ball and kind of say, what is the future of the public workforce development system across the state of North Carolina? What do you project is going to happen as we continue to reopen and go through 2021 and beyond?
I think as we continue to reopen that we'll move forward with everything that we've learned this year. We're increasing our toolkit. We're going to have a lot more services available virtually to businesses. We've discovered that the business seem to like virtual career fairs. It's easy access for them. Our customers like it too. Social media has played a huge part. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok even, Twitter, all of the social media platforms are being used. All of our boards have website pages and Facebook pages, and they're communicating information for outreach to their job seekers, to their businesses. So those things are going to grow, continue to grow. And I think the future is bright. I think that we've we've really had a lot of valuable learning experiences this year that we'll be taking forward. And we'll be looking at our systems. Do we need brick and mortar buildings?
Yeah.
How many do we need? What do
Right.
the communities look like? Are there other partners that we haven't engaged with in the past that we are now engaged with? And how can we grow that and take advantage of that?
So I was watching right before this on Live at the Forum, the interview with Walter, and we'll say that he mentioned TikTok as well. And I just wanted to share this. We haven't had this conversation, but I read an article the other day that TikTok has made a major investment to start a platform to help young people market themselves to employers. So we're going to see that happen, that they're going to do short videos on their skill sets, who they are, all those types of things. And I think that it's really going to be growing. We're going to see that be prevalent, especially in the young adult space.
I think
in
in
the
the
near
young
future.
adult space, social media is absolutely growing. In fact, many of the young people that do come, my office is stationed in a career center, so I do have access to see the adults and the young people that do come to the career center. You know, they prefer to sit in their car with their phone and do whatever they need to do virtually, even though they're right there in the parking lot. It's just easier.
They're using your Wi-Fi.
They're
right?
using our Wi-Fi, exactly, and that's how they prefer. And so we, as traditional operations,
Right.
need to make that pivot and change and be able to address them where they are and how they want to receive information.
Well, this is great. Stephanie, we thank you for stopping by today. Any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with those folks that are out there watching today?
It's just great to be here and to be live with you. And I thank NOB for this conference and my first real live event in 15 months. And I thank Equus for inviting me to participate in this today. And thank you, Bradley.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.